All right, lots to talk about on the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video this evening. It's weather for Weather Geeks, and I suspect we have a lot of people watching this evening who maybe don't consider themselves to be geeks, but are really curious about the snow that's coming our way Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. Lots to get to this evening. Let's talk about first how today went. So we did have some filtered sunshine, especially this afternoon, made for kind of a milky sky up there at times. You may have seen some cool optical phenomena with that cirrus deck of clouds overhead, some sundogs and some circumhorizontal arcs, things like that. Some cool stuff out there today, but the clouds are winning the battle this evening, and we've got the snow coming our way tomorrow. Now, of course, with the increased snowfall totals that are expected now with our storm, there's been a lot of chirping on Facebook, as there always is, a lot of trolls out there. Especially, a couple weeks ago we had a storm that underperformed in some places now and actually overperformed in others, but people remember a storm a couple weeks ago that brought less snow than anticipated, especially in Mahoning County, and so there's a lot of skeptics about us raising snowfall totals for the storm. But, snowfall forecasts are always going to change in the lead up to an event. It's just it's kind of the scientific process. As we get closer to an event, we get better, more high-resolution data, and we adjust accordingly. Now, we try not to adjust multiple times and confuse people, and it's easy to be confused by snowfall forecasts. A lot of numbers get thrown around. You may encounter different numbers on different TV channels. You may encounter different numbers on different apps and Facebook pages and things like that. But if you pay attention to one particular source, namely us, we try to minimize the number of numbers, if you will, that we throw out at you. But generally, this is the process that we go through. About a week out, we can recognize the pattern may be favorable for some sort of wintry mischief. And then once we get to 1, 2, 3 days out, that's when we can really hone in on the specifics. And we fine-tune those details and really try to pinpoint not only the timing, but the impacts, and of course the amounts as well. This is all part of a process that we follow every time, and it's nothing new, that is for sure. All right, a lot of Pennsylvania is covered by a winter storm warning in anticipation of a blockbuster storm, one for the record books in the month of December. Now, Pennsylvania, especially the central and eastern part of the state, can see big-time winter storms, but it's more typical in January and February, not so much in the month of December. Now, as of this recording, winter weather advisories were issued by the Pittsburgh National Weather Service Office for Columbiana, Lawrence, and Mercer counties. It is a winter storm warning for the Pittsburgh metro area. Now, you'll notice no winter weather advisories are out as of this recording in Mahoning and Trumbull. Those counties are covered by the Cleveland National Weather Service Office, and they chose not to issue any products. I'm not going to be shocked, though, if tonight, depending on the most updated data they have available, if they issue a winter weather advisory, either way, it doesn't matter. Whether you're under an advisory or not, the forecast from us and the expected impacts are not going to change over the next several hours, even if an advisory is issued. Here's a look at our winter storm taking shape across the middle of the country. It actually, it doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but as this pushes off to the east, it'll pick up some Gulf moisture, and the atmospheric ingredients will come together for this thing to really strengthen and become, as I mentioned, quite the blockbuster across the eastern U.S. Now, ahead of our storm, we're about halfway through December, and here's a look at the snowfall totals so far at the Youngstown Warren Airport in Vienna. We're above average through the first half of December thanks to that big storm on the first day of the month. Now, that's the storm that underperformed in the Youngstown area, the Austintown area, et cetera, but up at the airport, got 7.7 inches, putting our monthly total at 8, 1.2 above the average. All right, timing. If you're an early morning riser, no problems tomorrow morning. The snow will get underway as we head into the midday hours and then continue into the afternoon. And the heaviest of the snow will occur, I think, very late in the afternoon and through the evening. I think it's going to be pretty tough on the roads from sunset through about midnight. That 6 or 7 hour stretch is going to be the time of the day that you want to avoid being on the roads if you can. The snow will then taper off tomorrow night. Some leftover flurries at times Thursday. Maybe a resurgence of some flurries, and with temperatures in the mid-20s Thursday night, might be some residual sneaky slick spots out there into Thursday night and Friday morning. Otherwise, just a lot of clouds on Friday. So again, timing of things, this gets underway around lunchtime. It may take until 1, maybe even 2 to get underway, say, in Mercer County. But it may get underway as early as 11 o'clock or so down towards Salineville, East Liverpool, Hanoverton, places like that. The heaviest of the snow towards sunset through the evening, and then the snow will taper off to flurries as we head into the overnight. Now, the snowfall rates will be pretty impressive for a time, I think, in the evening. Here's a kind of look at the rolling snowfall accumulation, and if you notice, there might be a few hours here in the evening where we pick up a half an inch to maybe even close to an inch per hour. Once you start getting up into that territory as far as snowfall rates, then it becomes pretty difficult for the road crews to keep up. Even on the major roads, the interstates, the highways, the more traveled roads, when you get those kind of snowfall rates, especially after dark, it can get pretty hairy out there despite the best efforts by the road crews. So again, avoid travel if possible for a handful of hours in the evening. Here's a look at the model spread as of late this afternoon, early this evening, for kind of the heart of our TV viewing area. Southern Trumbull County, a lot of Mahoning County, kind of right in the middle of our area. And there's actually still a pretty decent spread, but the GFS is really lagging at this point behind some of the other modeling. These are outliers at this point. The better model consensus is up here, 5, 6, 7 inches even, kind of for the heart of our viewing area. So that's where the models stand right now. As far as our actual forecast, again, these totals locally have increased over the last 24 hours. It won't be anything like they'll see out towards Altoona, State College, Williamsport, Harrisburg, Allentown, the Poconos. There's going to be some places that get 20 inches plus out of this storm. Nothing like that around here, but enough to shovel and plow and cause disruptions. I think 4 to 8 inches will be pretty common in a lot of our television viewing area. If you're going to see a little less than 4, I think that's most likely north of Warren and up into the Mecca area, Mesopotamia, Bloomfield, maybe as far south as Newton Falls. But we're splitting hairs a little bit there. It's still going to be enough to be disruptive and cause some travel issues. But I'm not going to be surprised if some backyards get 7 or 8 inches worth of snow out of this. But keep in mind, these are ranges. We give ranges for a reason. 4 to 8 does not mean 8. It means that you're likely to be somewhere between 4 and 8. As far as the consistency of the snow, this will be pretty typical around here. What I mean by that is a snow to liquid ratio of about 12 to 1. 12 inches of snow equals 1 inch of liquid. That comes out as snow that is not super wet, but also not super dry and dusty and the kind of snow that you can brush with a broom. It's going to be somewhere in between and kind of near what we call average. All right, temperatures will be above average early next week. The pattern will favor early next week some cold out here, and then it's going to get the green light to come east just in time for Christmas. Nothing unusual for late December, but I do think it will turn noticeably colder just in time for the holiday. Will this come with any snow? Too early to make that call 10 days out, that's for sure, but we are confident that it will be colder just in time for the Christmas holiday after a fairly mild start to next week. Historical odds of a white Christmas, an inch or more of snow on the ground Christmas morning. Those historical odds locally are about 45%. This year, I think they're below that average, but we're not going to rule it out. Certainly if you get enough snow tomorrow, not all of it probably will melt before Christmas. There may still be some small amounts of snow on the ground by Christmas as a result of tomorrow's snow. But then with that colder pattern, maybe just at the last minute in time for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of a white Christmas this year, even though, again, I think the odds are lower than maybe the historical average, which is not quite 50-50. All right, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks tonight, extended version. I'll have more updates on social media, might do a Facebook Live before the evening is through. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening and get ready for a snowy Wednesday afternoon and evening.